Well, good afternoon. It is Sunday. It is Sunday, isn't it? It's the end of day three of Skate Canada International 2025. And we just finished with the free dance. And I got to say, I feel like it was a long competition. Um, Kind of maybe getting used to the 2 day thing. And now we got the 3 day thing that happened today. And so let's talk about the free dance first. And then I'll head back over to the men's free skate that happened earlier in the day. Uh, Gilles Poirier with a 202.89, a lot lower than I think what many people expected from them. We'll talk about that in a second. Reed Amberlevicius with probably the free dance of the day, absolutely the free dance of the day, 200.92. And then Ledois Lega and Carrera Ponomarenko do a little bit of a flip flop. Ledois Lega gets the bronze with a 192.41, and Carrera Ponomarenko with a 191.23. And my dog, of course, is ready to play. Ledois Lega and Carrera Ponomarenko both had errors in their free dances, and also kind of one of those things that folks maybe didn't expect, but maybe a little bit expected because Ledois Lega had a late start to their season, and also changed their free dance, and Carrera Ponomarenko also changed their free dance. So there's a little bit to the kind of potentially like a lack of total preparation of those programs for this event, and maybe some of that showed. Both of them lost levels on some things. The Ledois Lega with an exclamation point didn't meet the requirements for their choreographic step. This is happening every single week now, with Franklin giving me a lot of grief for doing a final recap. But the choreographic step for Ledois Lega here looked like he might have been too far away from her in the middle when he did his mazurka, and she kind of was a little bit farther apart from him, and so that cost him a couple of points. A dance spin level 3 for them as well, that cost him a point. Carrera Ponomarenko had an issue with the levels for the rotational lift and for the dance spin, both coming in at level 2, cost them a good 4 to 5 points. So all of that just like led to a lot of the issues that they saw in their scoring. Reed Amberlevicius were the cleanest of everybody. As I was saying a number of times, they are the most trained out of everybody because they had to be good early on, and so they got another silver here to go with the silver they got earlier in the season, and so 2 silvers, that puts them in very good position to make their first Grand Prix final. And so we'll see what happens in the next 3 weeks with the rest of the teams, but I would say they have a very high likelihood of qualifying for the Grand Prix final. Gilles Poirier, I think a couple things I wanted to point out there. One was the curve lift where she never got her footing on his thigh in the right way, and so it barely went up, and the curve lift was called a level 1, and it got negative grades of execution. That was oof. Just looking at the scores, that was probably cost them 4 points maybe. So that was incredibly costly there. And the fact that their components were just not terribly high. For surprisingly so, maybe, given that we're used to seeing something in the 55s for them at least, and we saw a 53.58. I mean, to put into comparison, Reed and Amberlevicius got a 53 for their components. So we'll have to take a look at those programs again, kind of a second watch and see where that goes. But that was the dance event. We'll come back and talk a little bit more later on. Michelle will be joining me at 8 p.m. Eastern for our weekly live show. So I know Michelle will have plenty to talk about from her end. Okay, on to the men. Ilya Malinin, 333.81. I mean, a ridiculous score. One of the cleanest programs I've ever seen from him, actually. And there was a reason for the score to be that big. Um, Alexander Selevko with the surprise silver, 257.21. Not that he wasn't in contention. He was in third place after the short program, but the fact that he put two good programs together, he doesn't do that often. And it was when he's on, he is very good. And then speaking of when he's on and he's very good, but we didn't expect it from him, Kao Miura. I mean, the trials and tribulations of Kao Miura this season, for him to do what he did here and win the bronze medal of 253.69, huge stride for him. And all of a sudden, Kao has re-entered the conversation for the Olympic spots, and he's got to just keep this momentum going because it's still a long season. He's still got more work to do, and he's got to skate probably two more very good competitions to get himself onto that Olympic team. And really, for me, the one who is most likely in that mix for that Olympic team is going to be Kazuki Tomono, who just lost out to Kao Miura for the bronze medal by 2.5 points. No, not even, less than 2.5 points. He comes in at fourth, 251.46. So Kao Miura 253, Kazuki Tomono 251. Those are very close scores, and that's going to necessarily be a thing to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. Now, Kao Miura already had his first Grand Prix. He did that in France, and it was nothing short of a disaster. And so this was a really good recovery for him. Kazuki Tomono has another Grand Prix, and so he's got a chance to one up himself, really, on this 251 score here. And for him to have two good Grand Prix is going to be a very good thing if he is to continue to make his case for the Olympic team. So that's kind of where that is. I think Sasha Selevko did himself a lot of favors because, Estonia, it is a fight between or among three men for the Olympic spot. And, his 257 here now puts him in front in terms of the scores that his countrymen have put up. And so, he's got a 257. Arlet Levandi, I don't even see it right now, but Arlet Levandi and Sasha's brother Michał Selevko have skated well this season already, and so this was a very good outing for Sasha Selevko, and that's going to help him in his quest for the Olympics. So that's it for day 3 of Skate Canada International. Michelle and I, as I said, we will be back at 8 p.m. for our weekly live show. So join us in 4.5 hours. We will have lots and lots to talk about. And as you already know, Michelle's got plenty of opinions about things that have gone on. So that will certainly be the case here. So I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to get a little bit of rest, and then I'll talk to you again in 4.5 hours. Bye.